Morning, Tiffany. Morning, Christina.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Good.
Trying to get my stuff situated here.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll get started in just a minute or two. If y'all are able to, can y'all turn on y'all's cameras once we get started?
Yep, just organizing some things. If there's some hectic background, I'm gonna shut the camera off, but
Okay.
it's pretty calm for now. So
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. My cats always seem to make an appearance when I'm teaching, so we'll see if they hop on.
yeah, it's like everything's calm beforehand, and then as soon as things start to pick up, the dogs get a little rowdy. So
Yeah. I think sometimes mine are set off by my voice, like they hear me talking a lot and think I'm talking to them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, got it, Tiffany. Sounds good. Do you have audio through your computer or?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Awesome. Sounds good. We'll just give it one more minute. Christina, how did didn't you shadow an open house a couple weeks ago?
I did. It was good. It was pretty calm. There wasn't that many people that came, but that's okay because I didn't really have the, I guess, I don't know, the acumen or whatever to be able to address a whole lot of people at once. So it kind of gave me an opportunity to observe and have a conversation with the
Yeah.
other agent and learn some things. So I'd like to potentially do another one soon. The first half of the month is always really, really busy for me, but the second half isn't as much. So if any more opportunities do pop up in the next week or two, then probably ask if that's a possibility. But yeah, I'd like to do, a few more before I start sinking into it on my own kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely helps to shadow at least two. And there's definitely a like happy medium in terms of traffic, because sometimes when too many people come, then you can't talk with everyone and it gets a little crazy. So it definitely helps when there's more than one agent in the home. But like you said, with shadowing, it kind of gives you a chance to pick their brain during the
Exactly, and get ideas and the signs were, I don't know why, like the signs seem so stressful for me, but like I really want, it was rain, like, it's been raining. So I couldn't really follow him with that because there was a huge storm coming, but I kind of want to see like the placement with the signs and all that other kind of thing. Like once you get in, like inside the house isn't a huge, I could talk to people or whatever. Part of that is just understanding about the house and if I can ask a question, then how to address it. Those are the things that give me a little bit of anxiety, but it's like I can always talk to the people and try to engage them and stuff. It's just like, oh, what do I do if they ask me this? What do I do if they ask me that kind of stuff? That's what I want to get more of a handle on first.
Yeah, it definitely helps to practice and then also get to see how other agents handle those questions. Especially, I feel like there's often questions that you might not know the answer to in that moment. So it's good to see how the agent handles that and helps the client or potential client. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, glad to hear you did one. And we'll go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. Can y'all see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on how to get clients from Instagram. So what we cover on Instagram can also be applied to Facebook and other platforms, but for today we'll focus on Instagram. Are both of y'all on Instagram already? Christina's on. Okay. Tiffany, are you on Instagram?
I am, but I haven't used my real estate account yet.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. And then Christina, have you posted any real estate stuff or is it mainly personal at the moment?
Yeah, no, I haven't set up anything social media for real estate based because I don't really want to put myself out there until I kind of get a better handle on things, but this gives me an idea of how to kind of start building it. So, and I've done some advertising for other companies for social media, but I'm interested to see what real estate in particular suggestions you have for that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we will go through using Instagram for both personal and business use. And then we'll also talk a lot about the prospecting side of it in this class, which is being more direct and active with Instagram. Whereas I would classify just posting as marketing and more passive and indirect. So we'll talk about both of those things and how they can work together through this class. Morning, Jeff.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna. Oh, did you have a question, Jeff?
Okay, Instagram. I just was curious.
Yeah, we're focusing on Instagram, but you might have missed this or you might have been joining, but what we go through today can be applied to Facebook and other platforms.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll start with optimizing your Instagram. So with this first thing, I know this is a topic of discussion often. I know when I started as an agent, I had a personal account and I created a separate one for business use. However, for me personally, it was hard to keep up with both of them and put out good content on both of them. And I just found that a lot of my followers from my personal wouldn't go over to my business and follow me there. So ultimately, I found that it worked best for my situation to combine the accounts. So I ended up moving everything over to my personal account since it had the most followers and engagement. And I really did see an uptick with interaction with my business posts on my personal account. I also think people like seeing some personal aspects of your life. So I always recommend creating just one Instagram account and using it for both, and then the same for every platform. On Facebook, you will need to create a business page linked to your personal account, but when it comes to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of those other platforms, I do recommend just creating one account. And then also make sure your account is public. If you need to go back through posts and maybe hide some ones that are more personal and that you don't want everyone to see, that's completely fine. However, if you're going to be using Instagram as lead generation, you really need to be public and transparent for people so they can see who you are. And then lastly, I do recommend connecting Instagram to your phone contact list, and you can Google how to do this, and the official Instagram website has a good tutorial on how to do this, so you can connect it and follow everyone in your sphere. And then each time you add someone on command, add them on Instagram as well. So say you hold an open house and you meet someone that you connect with and you get their phone and email, then maybe once a week or as part of your follow-up plan for them, find them on Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you use most, and connect with them on there. As you're nurturing people and following up with them, it's good to use a range of communication methods like phone, text, email, and social media is another method that you can add, so it doesn't feel like you're spamming someone with just one type of communication. So does this make sense to everyone? Yep. Okay. Have y'all connected y'all's phone contact list yet, or is that something y'all still need to do? Christina's not, or she's shaking her head no. Yeah. So, and when you do, I just saw you unmuted, Tiffany. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I have connected it, but also, and you might get there, but I was wondering, so you're talking about like optimizing your Instagram, and so are you gonna talk about optimizing the bio of your Instagram?
I believe so. I think that's later on in this. If not, we can touch on it a little later on. So let me
Okay.
write that down. Okay. Yeah, I do think that's an important step. Okay. And then when it comes to connecting your phone contact list, just to let y'all know, it doesn't automatically follow everyone. You can pick and choose who to follow. So if there's someone in your contact list you don't want to connect with on Instagram, that's completely fine. But I do recommend doing it so you can connect with everyone you already know, like everyone in your sphere. And then as you meet more people through other lead generation methods, you can add them as well. So any questions about this optimizing your Instagram? Nope. Morning, Nikki.
Morning.
Okay, so now we'll go through being purposeful by having conversations. So this is what I mentioned is really the prospecting side of Instagram. While it is great to market yourself on Instagram, if you really want to use social media as a lead generation method, your ultimate goal should be to have more conversations. So when it comes to Instagram, even if you provide your contact info in your bio or somewhere else, people will often still DM you because it's easier and less pressure for them than picking up the phone or emailing them. I know with YouTube, actually, a lot of people will go from my YouTube to my Instagram and DM me, and they'll mention that that's how they found me. And yet I provide my phone and email on my YouTube account. So I've just found overall that for a lot of people, especially if they're not quite ready to buy or sell, it's just less pressure for them to connect through DMs than to give you a phone call. So that being said, my Instagrams are the most active area of my Instagram. And I think that's completely okay because it still counts as a conversation. While it's not as traditional as a phone call, it's still a conversation between you and someone else. You can also have conversations through comments, which are great. However, for me, I've found that I prefer DMs because the conversation tends to be longer and more deep since it's private versus with comments, they're public for everyone else to see. So here are a few conversation starters I use. However, another great thing to do to start conversations is if that person is active on their social media accounts, watch their stories and respond to their stories, and or look at one of their recent posts and then DM them regarding that. So if they're active online, it's pretty easy to start a conversation because you have that in. But if they're not active, you may have to use one of these conversation starters to jumpstart the conversation. So one is, what type of content do you want to see from me? Home buying info or current market stats. So you could reach out to some of your close friends and let them know you're starting to use Instagram for business use more and ask them what they would like to see. Another great one is to send them a post. It could be any sort of post that you find on Instagram, and or it could be a photo or video of something you take in everyday life, and send it to them and say, this reminded me of you. So for me, I'll do like animals or hikes or just things I know that they enjoy doing. I'll as I come across those on social media, I'll send them. So this could be posts that you're just coming across on your feed. However, you could also go hunt for posts. So say I wanted to have a conversation with Christina, and yet I wanted some sort of soft opening, and I know she has a dog or two dogs. I could go search the hashtag dog, find a cute dog, and then send that to her. So does that make sense to everyone? Okay. And then if you're DMing someone in regards to one of their recent posts, it could be something like, I saw your post about your cat. She's so cute. How old is she again? So it's always great to include a question when you can, because it keeps the conversation going. And you can use any sort of conversation starter. This is more so just jump starting the conversation, and if it can be more real estate related or personal related, depending on where they are in their home buying or selling journey. So any questions about having conversations through DMs? Nope. Okay. So now we'll go over to converting to appointments. So no matter how informally someone reaches out to you, so even if they just send you a short DM, make sure you answer them, provide value, and continue the conversation until it feels appropriate to ask for the appointment. So like if you're at an open house or on the phone with someone, there isn't an exact science to asking for the appointment. I would try to pay attention to, I would ask a lot of questions and try to pay attention to their answers. And if it seems like they have a short or longer timeline in terms of buying or selling, if they have a longer timeline, I might not ask for the appointment immediately. I might ask for their info so I can get their full contact info and add them to command, or I might ask to go grab coffee or something less intense as a real estate appointment. Two cues that I like to follow with asking for the appointment is the first is when messages start to get super long and it would be easier to talk first type. So this is probably the one that I use most often. And it seems to work well because they can see that the messages are starting to get long and they're typically asking complex questions. So what I'll do is give a brief summary or intro to their answer, and then say, I'd really love to talk this through with you on the phone or in person. It would be a lot easier and I can make sure I'm answering all of your questions. do you have any availability this week for a 15-minute phone call? And then that would be the initial conversation appointment where I would chat with them for 15 minutes, get more info about their situation, and then see if I need to set them up with a lender or if I want to move straight to the real estate appointment, like the buyer or seller consultation. And then the second one that I use a lot is if they start talking about criteria, and it would be helpful to walk them through the MLS criteria and results. So one of the most, I think, fun aspects of buying a home is looking at homes, and that's often what the consumer wants to jump right to. So if they start giving you criteria, then you could give a brief intro or explanation of the MLS and then let them know that it would be best to sit down and go through that together. You can do this via Zoom or in person. And this also is a great way to manage expectations. If someone's criteria is not reasonable based on their price point or just something else, you can, instead of telling them that, instead of saying, there are 0 homes available that match your criteria, you can show them the MLS, enter their criteria, pull up the results and show them that it's 0. I've done this a lot with clients, and I'll then get their input on what criteria they want to widen, and then we'll do it together until we get an acceptable pool of properties. So it tends to work really well because I'm not just telling them no, I'm showing them no. So it positions me on their side, not like I'm trying to prevent them from buying that home. So any questions about converting to appointments? Nope. Okay. Has anyone converted to an appointment from Instagram before? Nope. Okay. So it's just like I mentioned before, it's just like how you would do it on the phone or at an open house. There isn't an exact science, but you can always ask for a more informal appointment or just getting the rest of their contact information if it doesn't feel quite appropriate to push straight to the buyer seller consultation. So now we'll go over completing your daily engagement plan. So this is essentially your lead generation time block for having conversations through social media. So I do this every morning. That's what works best for me. But you can pick any sort of time of day or week to complete this. So the first thing I start with is responding to any DMs or comments I got overnight. I try to respond with 4+ words and a question when I can, because that signals the algorithm that a conversation is going on. And especially if it's a comment on one of your posts, if you're commenting back and forth with that person, Instagram will see that this content is engaging and causing interaction on Instagram, and they'll push it higher on the like feed for more people who follow you or who can discover you. So this goes through DMs as well, especially asking questions to try to continue the conversation as long as possible. Don't just like their comment or like their DM, make sure you're responding with something. If you don't know what to say, just say something like, thank you, I agree, but try to continue the conversation where you can. Next thing I do is DM 10 people a conversation starter. So I typically will start with people's stories, and I'll go through those and respond to those. And then depending on when I run out of those, then I'll move on to looking at my friend list of people that I follow. And I'll go to their profile, and I'll first make sure I didn't miss their story. I'll look at their most recent post. And then if I don't have anything to comment on, then I'll just send them a DM. I then also I'll then look through my feed and leave comments on people's videos. So typically I send about 20 DMs. I try to aim for that number. Sometimes if there are enough stories, I can send 20 DMs by just responding to stories, but sometimes depending on how active people are, I have to do more DMs with conversation starters. Any questions about these things? Nope. And this is,
I actually have 2 questions.
Mhm.
So when you follow 5 people, is that like 5 potential clients, or is that 5 related like niche industry people, or
Yeah, good
both?
question. I'll go through that in just a second. What's your other question though?
My other one was going to be about the 3 buckets.
Oh yeah, we'll go through that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Priya, sorry, one more thing. Are you
Mhm.
going to go over what are some maybe common relevant hashtags that you use?
We will touch on that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first 3 things are more so with people you already follow, which is why it's so great to follow your sphere. And you will follow more people, which we're about to discuss, but it really does help to follow a good number of people so you have posts and stories to interact with. And then for the last one, so this is really trying to find new people. So Tiffany, to answer your question, these could be potential clients, although typically when I search hashtags, I search more personal related ones and try to connect with them on a personal level first. Most people who maybe want to buy a home aren't posting a post with a hashtag that's related to that. So you kind of have to follow them by engaging with personal aspects of their life. So we'll go through the 3 buckets in a minute, but just to give y'all a little bit of info, mine are real estate agent, adventure seeker through hiking and traveling, and cat mom. So I might search the hashtag like Denver hikes and look through people's posts. And I would then, if I come across someone, I would follow them and leave a comment on their recent post. And then sometimes I would even DM them after that, asking a question about the post. So this is the probably best way to find new people to follow on Instagram is by looking through hashtags. And like I said, I do recommend looking through more personal ones. If you're looking through real estate related hashtags, you're mostly going to come across other real estate agents, which, sometimes it can be good to connect with them if you want to see what they're posting. And yet for potential clients, it really works best to go through personal hashtags. So any questions about this? And we will go through the 3 buckets in just a minute, but any questions about hashtags? I didn't really answer your question, Christina. I think it
Did a little bit, but
okay. Yeah, I think it has to do with what personal hashtags relate to your personal life. You can Google like what popular hiking hashtags are or something like that. Although you don't necessarily need a popular hashtag when you're searching for people, you're just trying to find people who have used a hashtag that you can connect with them through. And I typically, when I search hashtags, they have the most popular posts and then the most recent. And I typically look through the most recent because a lot of times the most popular ones are like people who have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they likely won't notice a DM. I'm more so looking for like the everyday person posting on Instagram that I can connect with regarding to the personal hashtag and then get to know them better for potential for them being a potential client or referral source. So now let's go through being purposeful with your lead generation through Instagram. So one thing about social media is I most often see people using it just for marketing, like making posts, and then they're wondering why they aren't getting clients from that. While you can get clients who come across your posts or someone in your sphere who sees your posts and respond to it, if you really are wanting to use social media as one of your lead generation methods, you really do need to try to treat it like traditional ones and have conversations. So while it is less traditional than cold calling and door knocking, you can still use it to put yourself in front of new people and have more conversations with them and people in your sphere. So make sure when you're commenting on posts and DMing people and all of those things that we went through with the daily engagement plan, make sure you're trying to first have conversations and then second convert to appointments. And as you get more of their information, make sure you're adding them to command and updating it. And you can put them on smart plans as well with different forms of communication. And then also time block for your daily engagement plan, like you do with other lead generation methods. And then when it comes to the marketing side of Instagram or social media, make sure you're time blocking to create and schedule your videos or posts for the next week as well. So I found that when I sit down and create a batch of posts or videos, it goes a lot faster and just easier than if I'm doing them one at a time. I can then have, I think I have my posts scheduled out right now for the next month. But you can start by doing it just for the next week. And then over time, you can kind of build it up more. So any questions about being purposeful? Nope. Okay.
Question in general,
Yeah. Mhm.
I think this relates to a business page on Facebook. When you have a business page on Facebook, does it automatically let you use Facebook's scheduling software? I can't recall if the two are linked or not, because that goes to Instagram as well. So you don't have to, it's kind of like crappy. Like I've used it for other things before, and it's not as good as like something you would pay for, but it's pretty decent. And it doesn't give you like a timeline on how long you can schedule things out for, I don't think so.
Yes, yeah, you can schedule posts out on your Facebook business page, and then if it's linked to your Instagram, you can do it on Instagram as well. You can also schedule a post through Command, and then there are third-party apps like Planoly, Plan with 2 N's. There's Later. And then there's like LinkedIn has, well, LinkedIn, you can actually schedule posts now, but they used to have a third-party one called Buffer. So I would try to use the Facebook scheduling system. If not, I would look up one of the third-party apps and I would just use the free tools that they provide. I wouldn't necessarily pay for scheduling out. So any other questions? Nope. Okay. So now we'll go through posting content. So we'll start with how often. So I often see people suggest to post once per day. And if you can post once per day, that's awesome. And definitely do that. However, for me, especially since I focus on video content, I found that to be unrealistic for me. Even when I'm scheduling out posts in the future, as I get busy, it's hard for me to post every day. So instead I aim for 4 short videos and 3 story videos per week. That being said, I'm not perfect. I typically get the 4 short videos up, but I don't always get the 3 story videos up since I film those kind of in the moment. But this is what I try to aim for, and it's what I found that leads to the best engagement. And then when it comes to when to post, the best time is 2 hours before your most active days and times on Instagram. So these are the most active days and times of your followers. So here's a little tutorial, but you can also Google this and Instagram can walk you through how to find this. But you go from your profile to your insights. So you do have to have your account set to a business account. And then you go to total followers, active times, and the days and hours. So for me, my most active time every single day is for my followers is 3 p.m. So I post at 1 p.m. or sometimes noon to try to get that up and let the algorithm look at it and start pushing it out before 3 p.m. That being said, it really doesn't matter what the best time to post is if you never post. So I don't want y'all to overthink it. If you get a post done and you really want to post it that day and yet it's maybe in the morning or it's late in the evening, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and post it. And really, if it's the most perfect post and the algorithm likes it and your followers like it, Instagram will continue to push it out through the next day or several days. So it really won't matter what time as much, but especially when you're scheduling out posts, when you can pick a time, I would just pick noon or 1 p.m. for scheduling out those posts. So any questions about the frequency or when? No? Okay. So now we'll go over where to post. So while we're only focusing on Instagram, you can apply this system to other platforms like Facebook and TikTok. So if you add one other platform, I recommend adding Facebook because it can link with your Instagram, as we discussed. Those tend to be the two most popular platforms. While TikTok is extremely popular at the moment, I think it's not as maybe stable as Facebook and Instagram because of some of the things that have happened. So for me, Instagram is my main platform, and then I would say Facebook is my second one that I use the most. But typically whatever videos I post on Instagram, I then share them to Facebook and TikTok as well. So the main content on Instagram right now is short vertical videos called Reels and story videos. So while you can post photos, videos are getting more engagement and they're being pushed out more by the algorithm since they're trying to compete with TikTok. Videos are also really great to connect with people because they can see you and hear you versus in a photo, it's they don't get that ability. So especially as you're trying to build a relationship with someone, it's great to focus on video content to do so. So any questions about this slide? Nope. Okay. So now going over the format with Reels and story videos. So if your main goal on Instagram is to meet new people, focus on Reels. So like I said, Instagram is especially pushing these out to more and new people. So if you're wanting to show up on new people's feeds, then the best way to do that is through the Reels feed, which is the short vertical videos. That being said, especially if you're nervous to start with video, a good place to start is your story because it's only up for 24 hours unless you highlight it to your profile. So if you're a little nervous and yet you want to start with videos, then I would definitely start with your story, try it out a few times, and then you can start posting things on your feed as Reels. I do recommend with each story video that you include a text graphic or photo with a summary of what you said, or maybe captions, or you type something on the video because there's always people that can't turn up their volume. While videos are great to connect with people, if someone's in a public place or something like that, you want to give them maybe a summary or sneak peek of your video so that if they want to come back and watch it later, they can take note of it, or they can just respond to your story and ask for more info right there. So as I kind of talked about, prioritize Reels and story, prioritize Reels and story videos just overall, because those really are the best for lead generation through social media. Also focus on videos of yourself over videos of other things like homes, for example. People really do want to see your face, and this goes for photos as well. And that's really what they're going to connect with. So a good example is, say you're holding an open house and you want to film a short little walkthrough video of the home. I would maybe start the video in the kitchen with the camera facing yourself and do a short intro like, hi, I'm Bria. I'm holding open this home today and I want to give y'all a little sneak peek. And then I would stop that clip, and then I would film a clip of the kitchen, a few other short clips, and then I would maybe come back on at the ending and give some sort of call to action, like, if you like this home or you're interested in buying a home, comment below and let me know. So does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so while the bulk of the video wouldn't be it's not like you'd be speaking to the camera the entire time. You would show your face initially and at the end, or at least just initially, so that it engages more people. So any questions? Has anyone filmed any or posted any videos yet on Instagram? No one? Okay. I think they're super powerful. And while it's great to post, some photos, and that is a good place to start, I encourage all of y'all to try to work up to filming and posting videos on Instagram. Let me know if y'all have any questions in the future or if there's anything I can help with. Y'all can always send me a draft of any sort of post, and I'm happy to look through it and give any pointers or anything like that. So now this is the 3 buckets that we'll go over. So as I mentioned before, these are great to use as you're searching hashtags, but these are also used for making posts on Instagram. So the first should be related to your profession. So like real estate agent, y'all will likely all be real estate agent or like Denver real estate agent. And then the other 2 should be aspects of your personal life you want to post on Instagram. So like I said before, mine are adventure seeker and cat mom. So yours could be dog mom, foodie, a gym person, health person, like soccer player, mom, anything like that. So any aspect of your personal life you want to post on Instagram. So that being said, you don't have to post any part of your life you don't want to. So don't pick aspects that will make you feel drained to do so. So like, for example, I love to read, and I do read some business books that I'll share on my Instagram, but the books that I read for fun, I just, I use it as like an escape and as like a, activity that I use to relax and take a break from work. So I like to keep that separate and not post it on Instagram. So it doesn't have to be something like negative and I don't want y'all to feel like you have to put every aspect of your life on Instagram, just, 2, maybe 3 things that you feel comfortable sharing. Also, they should be ones your clients share or can relate to you about. So you want to build a community of like-minded people who will be current and future clients and referral sources. So not everyone can or wants to buy or sell right this second, and yet you can still connect with them, add them to your sphere and start to nurture them. So like I said, this especially comes into play with searching for new people through hashtags. So say I search the hashtag Denver hikes, and I find someone who lives in Denver and likes to go on hikes. I can connect with them through that and also position myself as the agent. So when they're ready to buy or sell, or they have a referral, they'll think of me with that. So I recommend using 1 bucket per video or post and rotate through them. So you'll have 1/3 of your posts be real estate agent content, 1/3 your first personal bucket, and 1/3 your second personal bucket. So I'd love to take just a minute or 2 and have everyone brainstorm what they want their buckets to be. And then if y'all are able to share, we can go through, or if you can't use your audio, maybe put it in the chat. So any questions before I give y'all a minute or 2 to brainstorm? Nope. Okay. Give it until maybe 9:39 or 9:40.
Sorry about my guest right here. The other one
It's
was
okay.
being rowdy. No, I have very specific personal interests, so that's not a difficult thing for me to think through. I'm a vegetarian, so I tend to actually had some additional pages where I was posting about vegan and vegetarian things. So that's one thing. And then I'm actually a certified holistic nutritionist as well. So
cool.
that's another bucket. But yeah, those I'd probably focus on those 2 areas. Those are the first things that pop into my mind anyway.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like those. Awesome. And then Jeff, Tiffany, Nikki, what are y'all thinking for y'all's?
I'm kind of wondering how broad they should be versus like how specific.
Yeah, what are you thinking for yours so far?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking like, so part of my issue is I have so many hobbies, and they're all sort of craft related. So like if I were to, I don't know, share a hobby, it's like how specific versus how broad, I guess.
Mm-hmm. They're craft related. So is it like knitting or what crafts do you do?
Yeah, so I mean it's pretty much everything under the sun. If you go to Hobby Lobby, I do it. So yeah, painting, knitting, crocheting, just I like doing jewelry, beading, things like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I think the first thing to think about is if you're okay with sharing all of that on Instagram. Say maybe you have a new hobby, say painting's new and you don't really want to share that. I maybe wouldn't choose that as one of the buckets, but you could, like you said, maybe use a broader one like crafting or crafter, so that as maybe you kind of explore different crafts, then they all fall underneath that one.
Okay.
Does that help? Did that help?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay. And then Jeff or Nikki, I can't tell if y'all are there. Do y'all want to share yours?
So my issue right now is, as I'm listening to you, I have a business page and a dedicated personal page.
Mhm.
So for the last 3 years, I've been using my business page kind of as my personal page, not really touching my personal page. So I'm trying to make the decision if I should just remove that business page and engage more in my personal page. And most of the content on my business page is exactly this: a third of real estate, a third of one of my hobbies, which is being a cooking food and making new recipes and things like that. And then posting things about my friends and family.
Mhm. And you said that's on your business page?
That's all on my business page. Yeah.
Okay. So do you get the most engagement through that page right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So if that's the case, I would maybe delete your personal page, and then you can always unlink your business page from your Facebook business page. Like you could turn it into a personal one. So you could do, like, if anything happens in the future, you could do that. But if that's where you are making the most posts and you're having the most engagement, then I would prioritize that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it can be kind of difficult, especially if you have like old posts that you like on your personal page. But I do find it's just less of a headache just to have one page and put it all on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Jeff, I can't tell if you're there. Do you want to share your buckets? Maybe not. He might have stepped away. Okay. And then, so I think it was.
Sorry, I'm talking to somebody on the. I'm talking to somebody on the phone. I'll get back to you in a little bit here.
Got it. Sorry. Sounds good. And then Tiffany, I think it was you who asked about optimizing your bio. So we can touch on this. So I recommend putting your 3 buckets in your bio. So for example, if you go look at my bio, you'll see, real estate, adventure seeker, and cat mom. So as people are coming across you on Instagram and they click on your profile to kind of see who you are, you'll have, your name, and then those 3 buckets, and they can get a quick idea of if you're someone worth following. So for Tiffany, I would maybe put real estate agent and then maybe crafter. And I don't remember if you said a third one, but you could maybe in parentheses after crafter put a couple or a few ones that you're focused on right now. So I don't think your bio needs to be super complex, and you don't really have a lot of character space to do that anyways. I would just make sure you have, your full name, your 3 buckets, and then in the website portion, I would make sure you have your website as well. So any questions about your buckets or bio? Nope. Okay. So here are a few ideas for your real estate bucket as you're making posts. So the first is home buying or selling info, market info, and FAQs that you get from potential clients. The second is listings, closings, videos with clients, and testimonials. So when it comes to posting listings, they don't necessarily need to be your listing. That being said, if it is someone else's though, make sure you're giving them credit. A lot of people will just say like, listing courtesy of, and then the agent's name, or maybe like listing agent is, and then the agent's name. And then when it comes to like videos with clients and testimonials, if you don't have any yet, you can kind of talk about the more personal, emotional side of real estate and the potential of it. So you could talk about maybe wealth building through real estate and make it more broad. Versus if you had a potential client that was buying in order to start their wealth building journey, you could talk about their own specific journey. But I don't want y'all to feel like y'all have to have listings or closings or clients to start posting real estate related content on Instagram. The third is conventions, designations, classes, and books. So anything you're doing to learn as a real estate agent and become a better real estate agent, I would always share it, at least on your story, to let people know that you are working to become the best agent possible. So for me, I'll often share classes and books, and especially when I was starting out as a new agent, I would take a photo of each class, like maybe my notes or the slides, and post it on my stories just to show people that I was really trying to learn and become better at it. The fourth is industries related to real estate. So like interior design and home improvement. So you don't always have to post directly about buying and selling, especially if you're wanting to work with sellers or get more listings. You can focus on things that come into play when someone owns a home, like interior design or home improvement. And then lastly, any emails you get from vendors like lenders with good info that you can summarize. So I know Mitch, our in-house lender, sends a lot of great emails out. You can also connect with lenders and ask to be put on their email list, or ask them if they have any resources that you can use. A lot of times vendors will just find you and just add you anyways. So I would definitely read through those emails just for your knowledge, and then see how you can, copy paste, maybe change a few words to sound more like how you speak or talk, and post that on social media. So any questions about ideas for your real estate agent bucket? Nope. Okay. So overall, your 3 buckets remove some of the thinking, guesswork, and energy of posting videos and posts. So when you know that you're going to be rotating through, or you're going to be posting a mix of your 3 buckets, it just sets good boundaries and saves time in terms of sitting down to create posts. And I think when it comes to boundaries, as I mentioned before, you're not sharing every aspect of your life. So I definitely think it helps to not feel as like drained, or not like you're putting all of yourself on social media. You're just choosing a few things that you can share and feel comfortable with doing so. And then the 3 pillars, which we're about to go over, ensure your videos provide value to your clients. So the 3 pillars to frame around are educational, inspirational, and entertaining. So an example of educational is 5 steps to prepare to buy a home. So educational is especially great to focus on as a real estate agent, because a lot of people need or want education around buying or selling. So for me, educational and inspirational are my main 2 ones, but especially educational. An example of inspirational is a client testimonial with an emotional focus, or like we talked about earlier, just talking about the emotions around real estate and the potential in general. And then an example of entertaining is a wacky home. So one thing to keep in mind with entertaining, try to focus on homes and inanimate objects, not on your clients. Even if it's not relevant to any of your current or potential clients, if they see you maybe making fun of buyers or something like that, they might think that you're talking about them, or it just might make them not feel super good. So I tend to focus on educational and inspirational because it comes easier to me, and yet I kind of want to make sure I'm not hurting anyone's feelings when it comes to entertaining. So I recommend using 1 per video or post to provide value to your client. So say you're sitting down to make a post about one of your personal buckets. So say for me, hiking, that'll likely fall into the entertaining pillar, and yet say I broke a record in terms of how far I had hiked, then I might decide to make the post more inspirational focused with the caption and what I talk about with the post. So does this make sense to everyone, the 3 pillars?
Priya, do you repost and reshare videos a lot, or do you more focus on creating your own content, or is there a good medium that we should strive for?
So I personally don't do it that much. However, I do think it's a great idea, especially if you connect with like a lender or someone who's just providing really great info on Instagram. It does help you provide value. I would, if you are reposting, maybe include some words of your own, like a caption or put text over the video just to add your commentary on it. But I do think it is a good idea, and it does help you post more things without having to create them from scratch. So yeah, I would maybe look on Instagram, try to find some people, or as you meet lenders and other vendors, I would ask them if they have or if they post on Instagram a lot. And most people, I don't think you need to ask permission. I think most people will be excited and happy if you're resharing it. But if they do that, then I think it would be good to take advantage of that. So good question. Any other questions? Oh, okay. So now we'll go through best practices. So we kind of already talked about this, but prioritize video over photo. Instagram prefers video because it keeps more people on the platform for longer, which means they'll push your video out to more and new people. Also, video better converts to appointments because they can get to know you and connect with you more. And then also never let videos or photos get in the way of providing exceptional service to your clients, especially during showings. So if you're wanting to take some photos or a video of a house to post on Instagram, make sure you do that on your own and either before or after your client arrives. It's a good practice to arrive to showings early anyways, just to make sure you can open the lockbox, get into the home, and everything looks okay. So this is a great time to take videos or photos. Same thing goes for open houses. When I used to hold open houses, I would get there at least 30 minutes early, sometimes 45, to make sure I could get fully set up the house, and then get some social media content as well. And then I would typically try to finish about 10 to 15 minutes before the open house started, because there are always people that arrive early. So like I said, just make sure when you're with a client or a potential client, make sure you're giving them your full attention and not just trying to take photos or videos for social media. If you snap like a quick photo of something, that's fine, but don't take that time to get on Instagram and post it. Just save that photo for later and post it on your own time. So any questions about these best practices? Nope. Okay. So now let's go over just some mindset things around social media and Instagram. So please keep in mind that if you're not already on Instagram, you're not too late to get on Instagram. It's not like you've missed the bus or anything like that. You also don't have to spend a lot of time on editing, especially with videos. People are not expecting you to have super well edited or like cinematic videos. You're a professional providing information or providing something for them, so they're not especially concerned with fancy edits. Also, it's okay to be nervous about putting yourself out there, and I think this goes for all lead generation activities. And then you don't have to have a lot of followers or likes to be successful. What you do need is a good community of people around you that you've connected with and you have routine conversations with to become better connected with them. So I don't want y'all to get hung up on the number of people following you or people liking your posts. Oftentimes someone will like DM you or just reach out to you and ask you a real estate related question. And there have been times where I've thought to myself when that had happened, and they had never engaged with any of my posts or liked any of them, and yet they in the DM mentioned that they had been seeing them. So I don't want y'all to feel like you have to get those things in order to be successful. As we talked about before, the main thing you're going to be trying to focus on is having more conversations. And then next, you don't have to be perfect. And then lastly, you don't have to post your first take with videos, and you don't have to film it in one take. So a lot of times when you're filming just by yourself. So I don't want you to pressure yourself and if feeling like you have to do it in one take. For me, when I remove that pressure, sometimes I'll do it in one take or maybe 2 takes, but I know when I start to get a little frustrated, then that's when it'll take me 3, 4, 5 takes, and it just doesn't go so well after that. So these are just a few things to keep in mind with your mindset and using Instagram and social media for lead generation. So any questions? Nope. Okay. And then here are a few details. So when it comes to videos, edit out any big mistakes and leave in small ones. So if you stumble over like a word or phrase, that's completely fine. Just keep going. If you mess up big time and you want to restart, that's completely fine. But I don't want y'all to feel like you have to have perfect videos or posts up on social media. A good third party editor app for free is Canva if you do need to use one. But if you're just doing small like edits, you might just be able to do that on your phone. And then when you're uploading, make sure you add a caption, hashtags, music if it's a video, and a location. Hashtags and location are ways that new people can find you. And then when it comes to music on Reels, they tend to get more engagement than ones that have no audio. That being said, if it's a video where you're speaking to the camera about something, I wouldn't add music so that people can hear you. And got it, Nikki. Good luck on your open house. Okay. And then with the caption, think of it as expanding on your video or your post. So here's an outline I try to follow. So paragraph 1 or sentence 1 is an intro and sentence to capture their attention. Paragraphs 2 through 5 or sentences 2 through 5 are the bucket and pillars. So that's expanding upon your photo or your video, talking more about, say, the real estate agent bucket and the educational pillar. And then the paragraph 6 or sentence 6 is the call to action and outro. So something like comment below if you want more information about buying a home, something like that. So this is an outline I try to follow. That being said, for me, captions are typically the hardest part. So if you can only come up with like a sentence or two, like say it's the intro sentence and then the CTA, that's completely fine. Just go ahead and post that. But when you have time, or if you're a real creative person that likes to write, you can expand upon your caption and make it really engaging with people. So any questions about details? Nope. Okay. Oops. Okay. So details part 2. So like I said, a CTA is a call to action. So think of what simple, easy action someone can take to engage with your video is. So here are a couple of good CTAs for each format. So when you're posting on your story, the easiest thing for them to do in that moment is to just respond to your story and send you a DM. So I would recommend using that one the most. Another good one is watch my story highlight. So if they're watching stories and they're in the mood to watch stories, they might not go look at one of your old posts that's a video. And yet if you tell them to go watch your story highlight, they might be willing or want to do that since it's more stories. And then when it comes to Reels, since again, Instagram is pushing those out to more and new people, a good CTA is follow me, because those people likely haven't followed you yet. Another good one is share this video. If they're willing to share that video on their Instagram story or their feed, then it'll then show up on their followers' feed. So it'll just expand your reach and the audience that's seeing the reel. And then when it comes to hashtags, so Instagram allows 30 hashtags, and I recommend using all 30 allowed. And you can find them by searching on Instagram and use a mix of categories. So for example, with realtor, Denver realtor, Keller Williams realtor, and luxury realtor. So realtor, I would say, is general. Denver is adding the location category. And then Keller Williams is the brokerage category, and then luxury is the type of real estate category. So I recommend just creating a bank of hashtags for each of your buckets. So I have a bank of hashtags for real estate related posts, hiking, and then my cats. Sometimes dependent on the specific post, I'll edit some of the hashtags. So for example, with my hikes, I have a bank of hashtags like Denver hikes, Colorado hikes, hiking, ones like that. And then depending on the specific hike, I might add a hashtag like Chautauqua, or like the trail name like Flatirons Loop, something like that. But it really does help to have a bank saved, and you can do this on your phone so that you can just copy paste the hashtags each time after going to search for them the first time. So when you search on Instagram, you can type in, for example, real estate, and then it'll suggest in order of the hashtags that had the most posts, different hashtags. So I would go maybe after this class or this weekend, go search hashtags and create a bank of 30 hashtags. So Christina, I know you had a question earlier about these. Do you have any questions about this?
No, I think that helps. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. And then so once your post goes live, you can DM it to people or tag them in the comments. For example, this reminded me of you. So this is another great way to start a conversation, especially if you're making a post that you want to make sure someone sees. So say you have a client that is interested in buying, and yet they won't be able to qualify until the very end of this year. Say you post a video going through a few steps of buying a home, you could DM it to them and say something like, I know you're not quite ready to buy. However, I thought you would like seeing this this video. Let me know if you have any questions about the info I provided. So any questions about any of the details we went over? No? Okay, so that was the last slide. So kind of as I mentioned before, we talked about the prospecting side of Instagram, which is trying to have conversations, and the marketing side, which is making posts. As I mentioned at the beginning of the class, if you're really wanting to use social media to lead generate, you need to do both of those, especially prospecting. So any questions about anything we went over today? Let me stop the share. Nope. Okay, we went through that pretty fast. Any random questions related to real estate or anything you've come across lately? Nope. Okay, awesome. So I think my homework for y'all would be to start off optimizing your account. So once you decide on your 3 buckets, make sure you add those to your bio, and then make sure you have connected your Instagram to your phone contact list and followed everyone. I would then start to brainstorm what your first real estate agent post is going to be, and then what each first post is going to be for each of your buckets. You may have posted one of those before, but I want y'all to brainstorm and maybe plan out your first post for each bucket coming up this week. So any questions about that? Nope. Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Thanks everyone for joining. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm happy to help with your lead generation through social media. Oh, Jeff, I just saw that you unmuted. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I heard most of the stuff, but I actually got an appointment while we were on this call. So it was kind of fun, actually, that somewhat to pay attention to you, but somewhat had to pay attention to my client.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. And this was, I believe it was recorded. Yeah, it was recorded. So it'll be up on the YouTube channel later, so you could fill in the gaps. But yeah, congrats on your appointment. That's awesome.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, great. Good to see y'all. Let me know if I can help with anything, or if y'all have any follow-up questions. And again, Elizabeth will upload the recording to the YouTube channel sometime in the future. So bye, Christina. Bye, Tiffany. Bye, Jeff.